But this is to let people know that we're about to go live. Yeah, that looks good. That looks dang good. Oh, yeah. So to remind me that I'm not supposed to do anything else with my wife other than spend time with my wife on Friday.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
Key to a good marriage.
I like being married. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black. Hey, you know me. First and foremost, listen, about 45. I am not a fan. You know I'm not a fan. But I think he has ultimately insulted the epitome and the essence of what our nation is and what our nation stands for. We are a nation of immigrants. We are a nation of immigrants that come from all over this globe. We have different skill sets. We have different assets. We bring different cultures. We bring greatness to the land. This is what sets us apart from every other nation on the planet. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I bet the Native Americans wish we weren't here. I bet they're like, man, because you went somewhere else. But we are here, and this is our nation, and we are about making it a more perfect union. And one of the ways that we've always made it a more perfect union is new blood, new ideas, fresh people coming to our shores. And the fact that they are brown and black just makes them all that much more colorful. Because I'm sorry. I mean, I like vanilla ice cream. I really, really do. I think vanilla ice cream, in fact, I like vanilla bean. I love vanilla ice cream. It is wonderful. It's wonderful. But sometimes I want a little butternut, a little butter pecan. I want a little strawberry. I want a little chocolate. Who doesn't like chocolate? Tell me who in the world does not like chocolate? I think every person I know will get a fresh organic strawberry and then dip them some sugary chocolate. Dip that strawberry in some sugary chocolate. You know, everybody wants to say that the United States is a melting pot. Okay, whatever. I don't think that we should be a melting pot because then that turns us into, all the same thing. Shirley Chisholm said it years and years ago. She said, America is more like a tossed salad. We have the lettuce and we have the tomatoes and the cucumbers and the cheese and the croutons and well, if you can't do gluten, you don't do that. But I mean, and you may have some protein or some meat or whatever you want in a salad. But all of these different things have their own flavor, their own texture. They have their own way of existing. They come to the salad bowl from a different space. And then you put the salad dressing over top of it, vinaigrette, whatever, lemon juice, and it kind of binds it all together. That's the flag, right? So, a salad, all the ingredients on their own are wonderful, but when you put them all together, isn't it fantastic? A salad is wonderful. Who doesn't like a salad? That's what America is. So to the simpleton who resides at 1600 Pennsylvania, I know that he doesn't understand the world. I just hate that he is speaking for us to the world because he has it all wrong. He's got it all wrong. There's nothing wrong with Norway. We like Norway. We like all our Nordic people and all of that. But doggone you, I don't have any problem with anybody coming from anywhere else closer to the equator. I wish I lived closer to the equator because these temperatures lately have just been way too much for Indiana's own. But I'm just saying, do not allow what he is saying to you make you believe that there is something wrong with anybody that comes to these shores from wherever they come from. We love them. We will accept them. We embrace them. We don't care where they come from. He's just talking crazy. He's talking flat crazy, and he has a limited view of the world. If he didn't have such a limited view of the world, then he would have already taken care of our own citizens in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. We are still neglecting these folks. I read an article this week from Newsweek talking about how the suicide rates in Puerto Rico have gone way up since the hurricane. Now, it's no longer about economics. It is no longer about, how much can Puerto Rico afford to fix this problem? It's about life and death now. People are depressed because their whole world has been leveled by no fault of their own. No fault of their own. And these are U.S. citizens. Please, if you're not sure how it happened, go study the economic plight of Puerto Rico and how we as the United States mainland actually helped create the economic situation that they are in now. But none of that even really matters. Because doggone it, if you don't have $1 in your pocket and you are struggling, there should be enough humanity in a land of 300 million people to make sure the island of Puerto Rico is getting the services that they need. Shame on us. Shame on us. We are neglecting our own citizens. But since some of them, feel like that's a problem for over there, I want to remind those people who carry tiki torches and follow 45, if you don't take care of them over there, you will be taking care of them over here. Puerto Rican coming to a neighborhood near you. I like to do that because sometimes that scares some of those special white folk that don't want to be around people of color. I just do that. That's just for its and giggles for me. That's just all. Y'all know I'm crazy. But listen, on a serious tip, we cannot forget about our folks in the Caribbean. They are our people. They pay taxes. We are supposed to protect them. They fall under the guise of what it is to be an American. Forget what that clown in the White House is talking about. He's orange. What does he know? Right? Because, everybody's going to tell me a 71-year-old man don't have no real issues. Come on now. Shoot, I'm 47. I got some ailments just because I'm old. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting up there. Y'all going to sit up there and tell me he's perfect? Come on. Quit lying to me. But anyway, I wanted to get that out. Make sure that we know I spoke at a diversity rally, a diversity group in Hendricks County this week, and it was beautiful to see all the young folks that were there. I did an MLK speech, and we talked about accepting a finite disappointment, but never giving up on infinite hope. And I have infinite hope that we will get this thing turned around. Also, this is Radio Next. This is what we do. All community, all the time. I want to make sure I let you guys know that on Friday, February 16th, 2018, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., Community Rule Nonprofit Jazz Mixer, featuring a North of Eden band, all nonprofits, networking, vendors. You guys can come on out. It is a $10 donation. There'll be a cash bar, but come on out to 4202 East EMS Boulevard in Greenfield, Indiana. This is where our station is. This is where I do the work. This is where we talk, and it's all about community all the time. Also, if we could always use sponsors. If you like the show and you like what we're doing, we can always use some sponsorships. Hit me up, and I'll make sure that I connect with you on how to do this. But Radio Next is doing some fantastic things. I got to make sure I give my guy that put me on a shout out, because I wouldn't be doing this if Jumbo Love didn't give me a platform. All right, that's enough of me rambling. Because I got a special guest that came all the way down from Fort Wayne, Indiana, to talk to Indiana's own, talk to you guys on Turn Left. Listen, let me tell you where I met her, all right? Because, I got a where I met her story. I was at the Fort Wayne Pride with my buddy Rick Sutton. We were sitting at the Indiana Stonewall Democrats booth. It was a little confusion because there was like two Stonewall booths. There was like a Fort Wayne booth and then an Indy booth, but it didn't matter. And I tell you what, this is, the pride is our thing, right? This is how we as LGBT members express that we are no longer going back in the closet. We are no longer going to allow people to discriminate against us. And if you do, we're going to fight back. And Courtney Tritch was right there in the mix, hanging out, having a good time, being herself, just letting you guys know that, hey, I'm running for office. And now mind you, this pride was in July?
I think so.
So Courtney has been at it now for 6 months, campaigning and running for Congress in the 3rd District. Please, everyone, welcome my guest, Courtney Tritch, Congressional candidate, District 3. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on.
How's it going? How was the drive down?
It was good. It was good.
I was
a
a
lovely
little
sunny day, even though it's a bit chilly.
Yeah, and actually got above freezing today.
Hey,
I'll take it. I was a little nervous because I was like, man, this weather is not cooperating. I wanted Courtney on. Courtney was, if you guys don't know, she was the first congressional candidate to agree to do the show before people started watching it. We were at French Lick having a good time, and she's like, yeah, I'll come down. I was like, yay, we're getting some big names. So tell us about who you are. I want the people to get a chance to know Courtney.
Oh, goodness. Well, it's a long and interesting story.
Good. We got a whole hour, girl. Let's do it.
I'm from Fort Wayne.
Okay.
Indiana,
Okay.
Originally, grew up there. Went to IU, Bloomington.
Okay.
And moved to Chicago after I graduated.
Chi-town.
Was working in economic development, community development, and decided I wanted to start my own business. So I went back to
business
school,
owner.
to the French pastry school, became a pastry chef, started my own catering
She
business.
can cook.
In Chicago, and then moved back to Fort Wayne due to some personal circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Got back into economic development. Worked in economic development for 10 years there. We did some pretty awesome stuff. A lot of great stuff going on in Fort Wayne.
Okay.
And then I left about a year ago to start Courtney Tritch Consulting and do marketing strategy consulting on my own.
I'm sending you my resume. So, okay, let's back up a little bit. You just ran, fast. You went through 2 decades real quick, I'm just going to say.
Yes.
So tell us about what it was like growing up in Fort Wayne.
It was fun. I mean, it's they always say it's a great place to raise a family. I'm the middle of 5 kids.
Woo!
And
Had to be quick, huh?
Yes. So, the middle child syndrome. Got to get noticed in 5 kids.
Sure.
But it was a fun time. But I think what's most interesting is how much it's changing. It didn't occur to me to want to move back there. When I was in high school, as a lot of high school students are like, oh,
I want to get away.
Yeah, of wherever it is they live. But we've done so much there the last 10 years that we're noticing a lot of younger people moving there, and there's not a lot more energy and excitement and buzz there.
Excellent. So visit Fort Wayne.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been there. In fact, I think I'm going to do the Pride again this year.
Good.
Because I had such a good time, and you guys had that covering that made it nicer.
It was hot.
Yes, it was, and it rained a little bit, and I didn't have to get muddy because I know you don't know this, but because of the rain, I had struggled to figure out what shoes I was going to bring to wear because I'm like, I'm going to have to stand in the mud. Y'all don't know me. Don't judge me. I am a shoe girl. I don't want my shoes messed up. So, okay, so you studied culinary. How did you go from economic development to being a chef?
Well,
I mean, how do those two mix?
I know, right? Well, so I had, I've always just believed in following my passions wherever it leads me, and I was working at the Lincoln Park Chamber of Commerce in Chicago, and we were the largest neighborhood chamber, and I was supporting about 600 small businesses.
Wow.
And so I thought, okay, this is awesome, helping small businesses, but maybe I want to be a small business too. And my mom, who's been a huge influence on my life, she used to bake things from scratch, like that she was just known throughout Fort Wayne for. So she would make Danish and breads and everything, and I thought, well, maybe I can do that too. And so I went back to school for that. Okay,
so it was just a love, a passion. So it doesn't matter. You can pursue pretty much anything that you want to pursue.
Yeah, absolutely.
So was it the community engagement that made you civically minded as well?
I've just always been interested in how I can improve communities, which makes me a nerd, I guess.
No, that's a good thing to be.
I was just telling someone the other day that a friend of mine, we went away for the weekend. We're like, let's just get away, get on the road, and go somewhere fun. And we're like, let's go to Pittsburgh and see what they're doing with their economic development and their riverfront development. And we're like, are we total nerds?
Yes, you are. Yes, absolutely. My Christmas gift to myself was going to a political conference.
See, there you go.
I mean, I get it. I get it. Okay, so it's just in your blood, and so the next natural step for you would have been to run for office. Now, is this the first time you ran for office?
This is the first time I've ever run for office. People have been asking me for years, and I politely declined.
Wow.
I decided to make the jump, a big jump.
You did. So I remember when people were saying, Dana, you're really going to run against Brian Bosma? Can't you start off like in school board or some kind of township board? Forget me. Her first go out, you're going for a congressional seat.
Yeah,
why that seat?
Go big or go home.
Okay.
Well, so it's kind of a personal story as to why I decided to run for office just in general. So I had a sister who passed away 7 years ago, and she was 39 years old. And
young.
And I just turned 40. So I spent the whole year of being 39 just thinking about what does it mean if I get to turn 40 and I'm still here, right? And what should I be doing with my life? And I was taking all of these long walks with my mom and saying, okay, I've worked in economic development. I've gotten to lead all these huge projects and, win millions of dollars for our community to improve our community. I started a group called Progressive Social Hour to focus on equity, equality, and inclusion. It just doesn't feel like enough. It still doesn't feel like enough.
Okay.
And so I was talking to my mom about all this and like, what should my next step be and what should I do? And then my mom passed away suddenly in the middle of that year.
Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
And as anyone who has gone through any kind of grief experience, you get it.
Well, and it's different when it's your mother.
Yes,
I've lost both of my parents, and as much as I love my father, it was still totally different when Mom left. It was because you don't get a better cheerleader than your mother if you're lucky,
absolutely.
Right? So
and so I just took a step back. I resigned my position at the Northeast Indiana Regional Partnership where I was working. Decided to go out on my own and just decided, you kind of think about what's really important. Mm-hmm. And where you want to spend your time and where you want to spend your energy.
Okay.
And I was approached about this position, and I had to sleep on it. I had to really think about it and think, this is a huge decision to make.
It is. It
changes your whole life.
And running for a congressional seat ain't cheap.
Yeah. No, it's not.
It ain't cheap. It takes. It's a full-time gig.
Yes, I think of myself as an unpaid telemarketer because I call people all day long for money. But you do it when you're passionate about
Absolutely.
it, right?
You're doing it for the right reasons.
And anyone who lived through last November's election knows that it woke a lot of people up to be involved and to do something about it. And my mom always taught me that, you don't have a right to complain about something unless you have stood up and done everything you can to try to change it.
Right.
So this is me standing up and saying, okay, 2018, here we come.
Okay. I love that story because it's not about, somebody asked me to run and that's it. Because I tell you, when I ask people, why you running? And you tell me because somebody asked me to, I'm going to be done with you. The interview over.
So, no, I get that. I
get
that.
So I love that you're sharing your passion, about community engagement, community development, and so basically what I'm hearing is that you want to improve the lives of the citizens that live in your state, and of course, from a congressional point of view, across the country.
Yeah.
Have you thought about what that looks like? Have you thought about what kind of ideas that you want to see come forward?
Well, so the 7 years I spent at the Northeast Indiana Regional Partnership really inspired me because it was an 11-county region, and we worked across geographic lines. We worked across party lines. We have the only mayors and commissioners caucus in the country.
Okay, that's impressive.
Mayors and commissioners from 11 counties coming together to figure out, hey, what do we have in common? What can we work on together? And so that was the mentality that I was basically brought up in.
Okay.
Of, I don't know who's a Democrat and who's a Republican. I want to know who has the best idea. And so that's what spurs me on. Is being that problem solver. I've taken a lot of like strengths tests and things like that, and it is said that my top strength is problem solving. Okay, how do we work together to get it done? And that is not really.
We could use that in Washington. I think you and Andre could work something out. And we flip 9. I don't care who comes out of 9, so we flip 9 and the 3. And Velosky up north. I think we can get somewhere. Of course, we've got some candidates in all the other districts. I'm just don't worry. 5th, 4th, all you guys. I know. So in problem solving, what are some of the techniques that you use?
Well, you know what I think is the biggest thing that's missing in this country right now?
What's that?
Listening.
I'm prone to. I'm hanging my head in shame.
Not true. And I'm a big talker too, and that's fine. But we're not listening to each other.
Okay, we're not.
I mean, so this week, MLK Day. I was at a big convention center in Fort Wayne.
I saw that.
And it was just an amazing, amazing event. And, the theme of the day is we're thinking about how we can make positive change in the world and be inspired by Martin Luther King. And so I'm talking to all these great people and learning all this, meeting new people. And I was talking to 2 gentlemen and a representative from Representative Banks's office.
Is that the guy that you're running against?
That is the person that I'm running
all
against.
Right. That usually only give you one chance to say who it is, so they know who it is. Yes. But that's it. That's all right. That dude. So, that's who he's going to be for the rest of the show.
I like it. So they came up, interrupted the conversation I was having with these 2 gentlemen, proceeded to introduce themselves to the gentleman on my left and the gentleman on my right, and never acknowledged my existence.
Oh.
And I don't care if I'm running for office or not.
That's just flat out rude.
That's just not how we treat humans. And to me, it was even more concerning during an MLK Day celebration where we are like, hey, let's respect everyone and appreciate. Or
at least pretend like we respect each other. Yes.
I just so to me, I think listening and appreciating other people where they're coming from. I am not a traditional politician. I don't pretend I know all the answers. I want to actually talk to people and figure out where they're coming from, because you know what, maybe you have a better idea than I do.
Say it again. Oh my God, the idea that I'm God is just annoys me. I know everything, you know nothing, do not question me, whatever with all of that.
Yeah.
So being a woman running for office, because I know it's your first time and you've never been a dude, so and if you have, it's okay. We don't mind. But I'm assuming that you've never, okay, all right. You've not, you were born female. So, I'm being silly. I don't know why I'm being silly. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's because you're my French lick buddy. They don't know. They don't know. So what is it in the year of the woman, and so many stories coming out of women, so many women who are running for office? How does it make you feel knowing that you're one of those trailblazers that are kicking down doors and taking names?
Well, it's amazing actually, because I think it was even close to 6 months ago, PBS NewsHour reached out to us.
Okay.
And there was a reporter there that was writing an article that was then called "How 2018 Can Be the Year of the Woman."
I love it.
And we had just launched. So the fact that a national reporter had found our campaign a few weeks in was amazing. And I actually just talked to her again this morning. She's doing a follow-up story on the candidates that she had talked to about where things are and how things have changed and all of that.
Excellent.
And it's a fascinating time to be a woman and to be a woman running for political office, because we're kind of tired of a lot of things, and we found our voice.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think the whole the whole misogynistic nonsense of since the campaigns started, when he came down his escalator in his golden dome or whatever the heck it was. Maybe that's why he's orange, because he got all that gold in that building. You ever think about that? Maybe it's bleeding into him. Anyway. So just the degrading of women and then the Me Too, the hashtag Me Too movement. Women are finding their power. I remember the speech that I gave at the march last year, the Women's March, was about seizing your power and understanding your power. And now I'm watching all these women, and some of them are having to pull themselves out of some really deep and dark and scary places where they have been. And they're standing up and saying, no more. I mean, literally, we're giving them a big kick in the butt. You know what I'm saying. Y'all know it. I'm not going to say it. God, you know me. But we're literally saying we're not taking this anymore.
So I spoke at the Women's March last year in Fort Wayne.
Okay.
And I was not running for office.
Okay, yeah, it was early.
Right?
Yeah.
And I spoke about finding your voice. And I used the quote from Malala, if you are familiar with Malala.
I am not.
The Pakistani activist and Nobel Peace Prize prize winner, and
who survived it all.
Yes, exactly. She's amazing.
Amazing, yes.
And she has a quote, and I'm sure I'll mess it up off the top of my head, but basically that when the whole world is silent, even one voice can be powerful.
Ain't that it? Say it again.
And that is what is important, because I think for so long we've thought we can't stand up, we can't be alone in what we're doing, and I think we're shaking off that fear. And I, in my campaign, when I was talking to the reporter this morning, she was like, what have you noticed? And I've actually been a lifelong independent. This is the first time I've declared a party.
Well, good for you. Welcome aboard.
Thanks. I know. Whenever I speak to Democratic groups, I'm always like, and thank you for welcoming me.
Welcome aboard, because this is called Turn Left.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I love it.
But what I think is so interesting about that is that so many women in particular are now, and I think that women will play a huge role in determining the 2018 elections.
Absolutely.
Because I have seen women who have never been involved in politics, lifelong independents like myself, who are like, enough. I'm behind you.
Yeah. And especially women of color. I mean, I think Alabama showed that, as black women or women of color, we even, when you look at the totem pole of society in the United States, we've been holding the totem pole up. We ain't at the bottom, baby. We've been holding it up. Come on now. And we've been holding it up. But women of color are showing their power as well. And now I have a friend, and I love him dearly. I'm not going to call him out today. I love him dearly. He's my friend. He always says, well, women don't like each other. Look at how they treated Hillary. And it's like, no, that's not true. First of all, you can't tell a lesbian that women don't like each other. You will get an argument every time. You cannot tell a lesbian that women don't like each other. It's dumb. But anyway, he was saying that women don't like each other and that we don't support each other. I think that is a misconception.
I would say that many more women even than men have come out to support my campaign.
I love it.
They see that we make up over 50% of the population and less than 20% of Congress, right?
That's my line.
They want representation, right?
Absolutely.
Because what happened this year with healthcare, right? We saw 13 Republican men get behind closed doors to develop a healthcare bill for the whole country, never asking...
Old white men.
Yes.
Old white men.
I mean, they didn't even show the bill to other Republicans, let alone a woman or a woman of color or
and to think that the input of the other half of the gender needed to have some input is just, again, the idea that I am God.
Well, and then their idea was to have block grants, which basically then ensured being a woman was a pre-existing condition because all of a sudden things like maternity care were optional coverage.
Oh, that's crazy. See, dudes. But see, they're okay with that. You know what? I'm not straight, so I don't think like straight girls do sometimes. I would divorce I would divorce your behind and then make you pay child support with your damn block grant with that. So I just wanted to touch on that because it is an exciting time. If you see the guest list, I have a lot of exciting women that are coming on to talk about running for office, and I wanted to highlight that. So let's transition a little bit over to your platform. I want people to understand why you're running, what issues are most important to you. So usually there's about 3 or 4. Hit them all. Go.
Okay. I would say the key planks of the platform are healthcare, public education, and clean energy.
Okay.
So, we just did a poll online on Facebook, and we talked to about 400 people, and even this many months later, healthcare is still number one with everyone, regardless of age, because, hey, we didn't solve it yet.
Nope.
I don't know if you're aware, but...
Nope. We did not solve it.
In fact, I think we've made it worse.
Yes, we did.
And so...
Well, the tax bill made it worse.
Absolutely. And so I am interested in not just saying, as my opponent has said, well, we just need to repeal the Affordable Care Act and be done, because to me, just throwing millions of people off of their health care is not a solution.
Absolutely.
And it sounds a lot to me like I'm on the red team, you're on the blue team, and that was a blue team idea, so I just have to hate it. It doesn't feel like leadership to me. It doesn't feel like problem solving.
And it wasn't even a blue team idea. It was a red team idea. It's just when the brother said, hey, let's do what y'all said we should do. They went, oh, no, we shouldn't do that no more. We shouldn't do what we said we should do.
Yes. I think very few people know that.
I know.
It was originally a red team
Absolutely.
idea.
It was a red team idea. And in fact, and the crazy part about it is Mitch McConnell, in 2009, his big thing was, we cannot let this thing pass because once we give it to him, it's going to be difficult to take it away. He already knew that it could benefit people. He just didn't say that. Yeah. He says, once you allow them to have it, you can't take it away. And here we are with these clowns doing everything they can to harm humans.
Yes. So we need affordable, accessible health care. We need to find ways to bring the costs down, which is not what's happening. Like you mentioned with the tax bill, repealing that mandate. Hey, guess what? Simple math. You take healthy people out of the pool and leave, just the sick people. Guess what happens? Cost goes up again.
Yep. And so that tax break you got, you don't have it anymore.
No, because you're going to be paying more for your health insurance.
Yep.
There is no net gain that's going to happen there.
It's actually going to be a net loss because the amount of money you would have received from the tax break is not going to be enough to cover the increased costs in healthcare. And that's the part, so when I read the memes out there, oh, you don't want more, pay less taxes, dog. Don't get it twisted. Trust there was a twist in the game. And the other part of that tax plan that just is funny to me is how many Republicans are now retiring.
Yes.
I got my money. I can, because most of the guys in Congress and senators are already wealthy people.
Yes.
Some of them not. The younger ones who are just starting off obviously are not at the same leg, except for Trey Hollingsworth. He bought his seat. We're gonna fix that in the night. And so what I find is funny is that they've done their money grab. They're going home. Good luck to you, citizens.
Yeah, unacceptable.
Unacceptable. All right, so that's the first
thing.
So
healthcare.
Healthcare.
Yes. Public education. So
talk to me about public education.
So, are you a coffee drinker?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
My wife wishes I wouldn't. No, she.
So
calm down.
I used to say that I was a fiscal conservative, and now that I say I am about fiscal efficiency, because I think that a lot of times we end up cutting off our nose to spite our face, and we end up paying more in the long run because all we've done is put a bunch more Band-Aids on it and cost ourselves more, right?
Okay.
So and the reason I say that about the coffee is that when I pour my coffee in the morning, I put the milk and the sugar in first, and then the coffee, because that's how freaky I am about being efficient. I don't want to waste a spoon. I don't want to wait for it to mix up. I want it to just be ready.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody has their thing.
But every time I say that, people laugh because they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're totally right." And now I bet you there's 10 more people.
Because when you get put in, yes, they will.
So anyway, I don't think we're being efficient with our educational funds. I think that I think we're diluting our public education funds by how we're supporting charter schools and other things like that. And now charter schools have worked other places, great. In Northeast Indiana, we have a fantastic public education system, and I think we need to figure out how to support that. I think we need to support one system rather than diluting funds to multiple systems.
Absolutely.
I guess is my point. And I want to make sure that there's accountability if it's public funds. And I'm just concerned about a lot of the things that have happened here in Indiana that have not been good for education, now making it to the national level, and some of the decisions that Betsy DeVos has been making, especially in regard to disabled children and things like that. I'm concerned.
Children of LGBT families?
Yes. And we need to protect our kids, and we need to make sure everyone has equal access to education. And this is important in the rural communities as well.
Absolutely.
Northeast Indiana, I live in Fort Wayne, but it's a 12-county district, and I've worked in the with the regional partnership and economic development in all those counties. And you might say, "Oh, that charter school is great." Well, if you're in a rural county, you don't have access to that.
Right.
All you're seeing happen is less funds for your public education and your children in the rural communities, and that's not acceptable to me to cheat our rural communities either.
Absolutely. And let's not be fooled, okay? Let's not get this voucher thing twisted. What it started out being, they've been able, it was supposed to be if you're in a bad school system and you make your threshold of how much money you can make was minimal, then you could have an opportunity to go to another school. Let's be real. Some of the kids now that are getting vouchers have never stepped foot in a public school, and their parents are making over $90,000 a year to sit. So we are now, as public funds, are supporting private and parochial education. And let's also be clear about something else. Students are not leaving Washington Township. If you live in Marion County, you know that's one of the better school systems. They're not leaving Washington Township, so there's no voucher money being taken out of Washington Township. Now, they have their own other set of problems, but kids are not leaving the township schools in say, in Marion County, because they are much better schools. Then it's always in your rural school systems or your school systems that have a majority of brown and black people where those funds are being removed. Do not get it twisted. I am so glad that you want to talk about that and fight that.
Well, and let's be honest. I mean, I want the majority of those decisions to be made at the state and local level, and I'm running for Congress, but there is concern, in my opinion, about what is happening at the federal level, what could happen at the federal level, and what influence Betsy DeVos is having over those decisions. So I want to make sure we're really vocal about that. I
do have one question, though. Yeah. Do you think you should talk to an educator?
Oh, gee, let me think.
Do you think maybe like a school principal or a teacher, do you think maybe you could get some good ideas? Because it doesn't seem like, even at the state level, they don't even talk to the educators. They don't even talk to them. They just come up with these, this sounds like a good idea. They just threw some crap on the wall and see if it sticks. I think those
are the first people we need to talk to.
Okay.
And I think that's what's, again, right? What's our biggest issue? We're not listening. So when you look at the Affordable Health Care Act, the Republican version of the plan, for example, at the beginning of this past year in 2017, I'm sorry, they, oh my gosh, I just totally lost my train of thought.
That's okay, it'll come back. It happens because we're excited. We're having a good conversation.
I got all excited. I know.
What?
So So they were not talking to other people. We're talking about listening. I wasn't even listening to myself. So they come out.
As long as you don't answer yourself, I think you're okay.
I might do that a little bit. But you're gonna make me lose my train of thought again.
Oh man.
But they came out with their plan, and then what happened? The AARP came out against it. The Physicians Association came out against it.
Yes.
And to me, I was like, well, those are the stakeholders. Those are the people that deal with things every day.
Absolutely.
Why are we not talking to those people first?
They're not even listening
about what
anymore.
are the great ideas to fix it?
They don't care.
And I think that applies across the board. And again, that's the mentality that I come at it with, because I worked for an 11-county collaborative economic development group where we said, what's the biggest problem our region is facing? How do we get those people in the room to solve the problem?
So you already, and it just dawned on me, you already have like good working knowledge of the community that you want to represent.
Yeah, so the regional partnership that I worked at for 7 years, I was one of the vice presidents there. That covered an 11-county area, and that footprint is almost identical to the Congressional district.
Awesome. So you're already knowledgeable. Oh, I love that. All right, what's that other thing? So we talked about healthcare, education,
and clean energy. So I like fresh air.
Do you now?
I like clean water.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. I know.
I know. I say it every week. I really do. I say if people who watch the show every week know there's going to be an environmental conversation.
See, there you go. Well, but so what I think is interesting is that there's an economic imperative as well.
Absolutely.
And so 1 in 50 new jobs in 2016 was in solar. And it's funny because I say that to people, and people say, well, there's not that much sun in Indiana. Well, I just talked with a solar company last week in Fort Wayne, and they said, one of the biggest powerhouses in solar is Germany, and they get no more sun there than they do in Fort Wayne. So that's your tidbit of knowledge that I learned last week. But it's not just solar, it's wind. We have a lot of rural areas, and with climate change happening, with crops being more unpredictable, farmers can have a steady income from leasing their lands to wind farms or solar panels or whatever it is they want to do. And there's millions of dollars across the country that are being used for that purpose. And so I think that that's a disadvantage that we're putting our farmers at, to not be talking about that. And obviously we're having a debate about climate change, which, for the record,
I don't understand why it's a debate.
I don't either. I don't either. But so...
Oh, wait, because God was mad at those gay people in Texas. God was mad. I think it's so funny that God was mad at the gay people, but he still ain't paid them folks back for the Trail of Tears yet.
Well, speaking of Texas, so Rick Perry did not believe in climate change.
Yeah, and now he's...
But Texas is the biggest wind producer in the country.
Imagine that.
Because there's an economic opportunity there. And so it's funny because a lot of these issues get so emotional. But, my background being in economic development, if you can just break it down to the economic bottom line, it's interesting because usually the moral argument and the economic argument are on the same side.
They're on the same side. Now listen to this, y'all. I want y'all to understand that this is a Democrat talking about economics. Y'all act like we're just all bleeding hearts and feel-good stories and civil rights and here you have a Democrat candidate. She said she was an independent for a long time, but she could have ran in the primary or could have ran as an independent. The rules are still the same, but if you listen, she definitely lines up with what we're talking about on the left. Now listen, the left is a spectrum. There's no litmus. I'm sure if I say women's reproductive rights, you would say...
I would say that I believe in a woman's right to choose her own health care.
See how that works? See how these independents are? They realize, I am a Democrat. I love your platform. I love it because it speaks to, again, helping the community. Now, just to go back to the environment thing, how do you offset? You're in economic development. There are still some people who are still stuck in those coal mines. They don't want to come out. I read an article a little while ago where even communities that do have alternative training sources for coal miners to come out of the coal mine and learn a new trade, they're like, no, I want to learn how to be a better coal miner. How do we transition those folks out? Because I think that's the other half of the conversation that people are afraid to have, or like when they quoted Hillary when they said those coal jobs are not coming back. We gotta tell them how we can help them on the other side of that.
Yes, I think we have to be honest, and I think we need leadership that is honest about what the true future is in energy in this country and globally. And so, it's going to be a gradual transition. It's not, tomorrow it's not going to be, we should shut one off and turn the other one on, right? But I think that there probably are people, if they understood really what's happening, as far as where jobs are coming, where they can make more money, where they could be less risk to their health and their family's health. I think that they would be open to it. Now, not everyone's going to be open, but again, that's a gradual transition. Yeah. We're still going to need some of those folks for a little while. But I think that when we have the leader of our country saying, "Oh no, it's coming back," it's giving them false hope.
Especially when the coal mining owners are like, "It ain't coming back."
Yeah,
they telling you it's not coming back.
That's just economic reality.
It is,
right?
It is.
That is not because I am a Democrat and I don't want it to come back. That is just an economic reality of where the world is
Absolutely.
going. And you're seeing countries like China becoming more global leaders in regard to clean energy. If we really want to be global leaders, this is something we need to get on board with.
Absolutely.
That's where jobs are coming from.
They are. So, and it's so funny because for the first half of the 20th century, we were the innovators. The United States, we were the innovators. Public education trained the people to put the people on the moon. Did you know that? So we were innovators. It seems like people stopped wanting to be the brains of the. I mean, we want to be the police of the world, and I'm not saying police don't have brains. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is we used to be the brains of the world. When we talked about technology, everyone knew you came to the United States to get the software. You can make the cheap hardware anywhere, but if you want the talent of the software, you have to come to the United States. What in your opinion, this is obviously an opinion thing, where do you think that shift went, where we wanted to be the innovators and versus I just want to be a investor and make money?
I think there was a cultural shift where we stopped valuing people who were smart and became threatened by that, right? There are people who are threatened by people who research things and think and are educated, and you see the rise of reality television and YouTube stars and that's all great. Like, nothing against any of that. We all got our
vice
of watching whatever
our vice.
Show it is that we watch. But I think that we as a culture stopped valuing that, and I think so much of that type of culture comes from our leaders, and we need to show that we value that again.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise we're going to lose our talent, right? I mean, look at what President Macron did when he had I'm
sorry, who's President Macron?
I'm sorry, of France.
Okay, thank you. No, just for those of us who didn't know. Indiana's own. I stay in my borders.
He just had a contest to make the planet great again. May or may not have been a dig at someone.
Love it.
And he asked scientists and environmental scientists to come over and compete. And that's where our talent is going, because France is valuing that talent.
Wow.
And we need to show that we value that talent here. Otherwise, Otherwise, we're going to lose.
We're not going to be the superpower anymore. I mean, you just can't be the bully on the block anymore because you have the biggest gun, or the most guns, or the biggest button. My button is bigger than your button.
Well, and I've seen polls that have shown that some of our allies around the world have lost as much as 70% confidence in the U.S.'s global leadership.
Absolutely, because we cannot lead ourselves out of a brown paper sack right now. It's really bad, and it's not just. I think the thing that highlights that the most to me is the fact that a whole party of people sacrifice the sanctity of our presidency and what that seat is supposed to represent to get a tax cut or to benefit their agenda. They just said, that seat really ain't that important anymore. The black man sat in it, so it ain't no good no more. So we're not going to value. I mean, the presidency, even though there were some jerks in there before, and I wasn't a big Bush fan, but, or I'm definitely not a big Reagan fan, but you know what? I didn't question whether or not they were presidential. Right. these guys
disagree.
Yeah, I disagree with a lot of policies and things like that. You know, I definitely didn't like Nixon's Southern strategy and all of that, but he was presidential. He had come up through the ranks. He was a vice president under Eisenhower, who was a great guy.
Well, and so to me, it's beyond even the presidency at this point. When you look at Rob Moore in Alabama and that election, and it seemed to me what I was hearing out of the right was, well, just vote for him even if you think he's despicable because we need a Republican in that seat. And I would like to just comment that I'm sure you know that there was an Indiana PAC that came out to endorse Roy Moore. It was run by a young white nationalist. Interesting fun fact, that Indiana PAC endorsed 2 candidates in the country. One was Roy Moore, one was my opponent.
We're not going to mention the PAC because we definitely don't want people to find them. We want to keep them in obscurity where they belong.
And I will say that I think that, you know, to that end, it's gone beyond partisanship at this point.
It is.
Right? I mean,
it is.
Most of us live, you said the spectrum, most of us live somewhere in the middle of that spectrum.
Absolutely.
And yet we keep electing extremists at the end. So, like, if you look at what happened with the FCC decision about net neutrality.
You want to get me really fired up, don't you?
I do. Well, 75% of Republicans think that we need net neutrality. And yet...
This FCC clown.
My opponent,
the
all
board
said, "Yay! This is an amazing idea to repeal net neutrality." And what are we thinking with that? When that many Republicans and even more Democrats know that that's a horrible idea.
Well, what I'm thinking is that we have elected people in elected offices who are getting paid by certain groups, and they are no longer caring about the citizens that they are supposed to represent, and it is up to us to vote them out. Yep. We all have the power to see, what kills me is that people think because you have a whole bunch of money, then, you know, well, what can we do? They have so much money. Honestly, if all of us show up, I mean, again, the Alabama black women, I'm sure that they were not the super wealthy 1% of Alabama. You know what I'm saying? They just came together and they used their collective power to make that change. We can vote these clowns out. Oh, yeah. Even Paul Ryan is thinking about not running again. And here's the other part, damn cowards. They don't even want to run. Oh no, I don't even want to run. I mean, could a real man stand up since it's 80% men? Could the real men please stand up in your party? Because you ain't even real men anymore. You're like... she didn't say it. I said it. She's running. I can say things she can't say. She ain't even got to shake her head in agreement, right? It just annoys me right now. They don't even want to fight for their seats and try to defend what they signed over the next 2 years.
Well, and I think it's an interesting point about I am totally okay with disagreeing with people and you having different ideas than I do. Great, that's what makes America awesome.
Absolutely,
and we can disagree and talk about things.
I can be an olive, and you can be the tomato, or
yes, in
our tossed salad. In our tossed salad, I'm just saying.
But my opponent hasn't held a town hall in Fort Wayne, the urban center of his district.
Really,
full stop. And so to me, if you have voted in ways that you're proud of, then come explain those decisions.
Absolutely. Because you are supposed to be representing the people.
Yes.
The people.
And the tax bill that just went through, there are a lot of things that were hidden in that people didn't even realize.
Such as?
So, for example, so the House bill, it got taken out of the final one, but the House bill that my opponent originally voted for eliminated 2 tax credit programs, the New Market Tax Credit Program and the Federal Historic Tax Credit Program. Now, why does that matter? Because there's a huge General Electric campus in Fort Wayne, and we have been trying to redevelop it for decades. This is the biggest economic development project in decades. And we've gotten a developer, and it was moving forward, and the whole community is ecstatic.
Okay.
That project would not move forward if we eliminated either of those tax credit programs.
Wow.
And yet, after he voted to eliminate that in the original House bill, my opponent's office was asked what his position was on those tax credit programs, and his office said he did not have a position, and yet he just voted to eliminate both of those tax bills. And again, it's beyond partisanship, because both Senator Young and Senator Donnelly, a Republican and a Democrat, came out and said, "Oh no, we absolutely need those two programs," and they ended up being in the final bill.
So he probably didn't even
all those things.
He's probably not even reading the bills.
I think you're probably right.
He's probably not even reading them. He's probably got a staffer read them. You should vote, and some lobbyist is telling him how to vote. I mean, because that's what's happening in our state house. I mean, the state house, they don't even bother reading the bills. I got house reps, on the other side that are like, yeah, just tell me what to do. I mean, literally a staffer saying, just tell me what to do. And that is a shame. But again, I want to reinforce, we can change this. We can have a revolution.
And for people who think that your voice doesn't count, I'm here to tell you that it does, because we started our campaign very grassroots in a super red district, and our first quarter, all volunteers, we raised 3/4 of what my opponent did, and $22,000 more than he did in individual contributions. Our average contribution level is around $150.
That's awesome.
And we're about to announce our Q4 numbers in a couple weeks, and they're awesome. And so I'm here to tell you, what you guys are doing is making a difference.
Oh, that is so awesome to hear, because I as much as we sometimes despise Citizens United and the idea of how much money is required to represent people, I'm glad to hear that you're being successful at that part. I mean, that's, I think, one of the things I struggle with. I still struggle with.
I hate raising money.
Yeah, well, you're not allowed to say that anymore. No, you didn't go. You didn't. No. You can't say that anymore. Take that out of your lexicon. Take it out, because I learned that if I take it out of my lexicon, then I will do better at fundraising.
Okay.
So you're about to triple what you just did, because you are now going to take that out of your lexicon. I love raising money, because I know now when I raise money, I'm going to be helping people.
Well, and the reason that I do it is because I know how important it is, because we have to get our message out. We have to have this conversation. This is the most important conversation we can have in 2018, and the way that the national movement is going and what I'm seeing on the ground. 2018 is it. This is the time
our
that
revolution.
We're going to make a change.
Yes, absolutely, and it's going to happen in more ways than people think it is, because the people that stayed home are like, what the heck? They're going to show up. Women who actually voted for Trump or voted more right are going to come out. They're going to say no more of this. Yeah. They're really, the scrutiny, they're learning more, because now we're in the information age. And even though, yes, people want to talk about fake news, blah, 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 most people who are pretty literate look for the second and third source. Yes. That's what I do. I don't just, take things first. I look for the second and third source, try to find the original source. Where did you quote it from? Yeah. And people are learning more, because you are giving them a snippet. Just like when Oprah shared the story of the young lady from back in the day. It was like, well, who is she? I don't know who she is. And I went and learned her story. And then I found out about all the different books that are being written about, the terrorism that was against the black woman body. We talk about, black men being lynched, but we didn't talk about the terrorism of, what rape did to black women as a means to subjugate them. So, I mean, again, you give them just a little bit, they're going to go look for more. And I'm excited about Courtney Tritch, because I'm telling you, she's genuine. What you see is what you get. Every time she's not giving you fake, phony fraud. This is who she is. She's a very nice lady. I mean, she just sugary sweet like that. She likes to make pastries. What do you expect? So tell the people where they can find you.
Yes, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
All right.
So look for Courtney Tritch, look for Tritch for Congress. TritchForCongress.com is the website. You can also find all our social media links on there.
Excellent.
And hopefully after this, you'll all be #Team Tritch.
I'm #Team Tritch. You guys ought to hashtag it. So, are you having any fundraisers coming up? Are you having any volunteer sessions coming up? Tell people what you have going on.
So this Sunday, I'm speaking at the Women's March in Fort Wayne.
Okay.
1 o'clock downtown in front of the courthouse.
Okay.
Come rain or shine, don't be fair weather.
Right.
It's supposed to be in the 40s, so it's not freezing, but it might rain, so wear a raincoat and come out anyway.
And dress warm.
Yes. So that's the Sunday, and then the next big one we're not quite ready to announce.
Okay.
It's going to be in March. But it's going to be a woman-focused event, and we've started looking at some of the speakers and some of the special acts, and it's going to be phenomenal, because our last act, you would have loved coming out for it, and I should have called you. We did a karaoke event last quarter.
You got my number, girl.
And we did a finale that involved me having some backup dancers. So.
Oh, and I'd have been perfect.
I know. I am.
You have not been to an Congressman Andre Carson birthday bash. He does a karaoke. Me and my guy
raps. I'm not that cool.
We rap together. We've done duets together, and then me and my buddy Brashawn Bonds, we do the kid and play dancing thing. Nice. I'm telling you, I could have been a great backup dancer. I wanted to be a pip.
Next time.
Hey, I wanted to be a pip. I did. I didn't want to be Gladys because Gladys was wearing gowns. I wanted to wear the cute suits. I wanted to be a Temptation, not a Supreme.
It's not too late.
And listen, in order for me to get married, I had to agree never to sing in public. I mean, my wife is like, ever. I will say I do. I mean, I think she wrote the prenup, and the prenup only had on it, never sing. That's my wife. So volunteers, are you guys already knocking on doors and doing that kind of stuff?
We are getting ready to, we just announced this week that we just hired a campaign manager, just moved here from Baltimore.
Nice.
We're super excited. So we are getting ready to really enact all of our volunteers. So we have a bunch of people who've signed up. We are going to need a lot.
Absolutely.
12 counties is nothing to sneeze at when it comes to walking and calling.
And listen, you don't have to commit to doing this every day, every week. If you can give Courtney a couple hours on a Saturday once a month, that goes a long, long way. If you can do more, please do more. I always reach out to the seniors and say, can you make some extra phone calls for? Because that's a whole community we ain't even tapped into we're supposed to, especially as Democrats. We got to do better.
Well, and sign up to volunteer on the website. There's obviously no commitment. You'll just find out about the opportunities, but I always say I've only been involved in politics for a couple of years. I would have been too nervous to phone bank or whatever in the past, so I get if you're a little like, I don't know if that's for me. We have a really fun time.
All right.
And it's a really fun
I can tell.
Right?
You're probably setting the tone.
I mean my team is kind of awesome.
If they're any reflection of their leader, I bet they are. I should just come up for its and giggles anyway.
You should.
And definitely make sure you post it so I can share it with everybody when you have a next event, and we will make sure that we get some people up to the Fort Wayne area and all the other counties. I'm not going to ask you to name all the counties because that would just be an awful lot, but we want to make sure that we get up to Congressional District 3 and give you a hand and help you out the best we can. I'm a big mouth, so I love being a cheerleader. Do not hesitate. I love your platform. I'm so glad that you drove all the way down. That means y'all don't understand. Y'all driven to Fort Wayne? It is not a quick trip. As much as you want it to be.
It's not that far.
I appreciate it. And that's the goal of Turn Left. We want to get I got Anna Anna Murray coming up. Awesome. She's going to come up. I've had I will have 2 congressional candidates that'll be coming up from the southwest end. Jim Pruitt I think is coming up next week. And then I had Lane Siekman on before, and it's just a fun time right now. Turn Left is, we're really trying to make this platform a place for candidates and elected officials. And y'all know I'm a candidate and an elected official groupie, so I'm really excited. And I thank you so much for giving us some of your time and sharing your vision with us, because it's so important. It's so important.
Do you have time for one piece of inspirational analysis?
Give it to me.
Okay. So there were a couple polls that were done recently with a generic congressional ballot in the country, and it is showing 2 different ones that Democrats have the biggest lead for a midterm election since 1938. This is it.
That's FDR days, baby.
I'm just saying.
That's New Deal days, baby. If
anybody needed a reason to get up tomorrow and volunteer and do more work and...
It's a new deal. Oh, I'm telling you. Oh, I love it. And I know there's probably going to be some House reps that are running up there. You guys, I know you guys are kind of working in no, but you can't because you're feds and... Right. Yeah, see, Indiana's on. I'm always thinking about making sure that I got my House seats and my Senate seats in Indiana taken care of, because, can you work together? 'Cause your energy is amazing. I mean, this was fun chatting with you. Not that I haven't had fun with everybody else. I love everybody else. This is fun, but I knew that this was going to be a good conversation because of how much fun we had in French Lick.
Well, thank you for having me on.
And what happens in French Lick stays in French Lick.
Sure. It was an awesome conference. I'm going next year.
Yes,
this year. I guess it's now this year.
Yeah, I have to
over to 2018 in my head.
Yeah. I have to make sure I square that away, because I think that weekend is even closer to my wife's and I anniversary. So my birthday is like the week. My birthday's on the 14th of June, and we got married on the 21st of June. So it's like, I'm gonna try to see if I can make it and swing it. But if I can't, no big deal, because the wife has plans. She's already told me what she wants. And I've already blocked off
there you
a
go.
2-week calendar. A 2-week calendar. So there's 2 weeks in June. Turn Left might be reruns. Because the wife is in charge.
Best of.
Oh, absolutely. The wife
great.
is definitely in charge. So, okay, we got 2 minutes left. Can I hear your door knocking speech?
Oh my goodness!
I
haven't knocked a door yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, well, you've heard of the elevator speech, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you're not ready for it,
well, I mean,
but give it to me. Give me what you got.
Well, I talk a lot about my background in economic development and how much we collaborate, right?
Okay. 30 seconds.
Oh, come on! We're not in an elevator. I thought it was at your door.
Yeah, I changed it. I'm a Gemini. I changed it.
Hey, here's the bottom line. We need to listen to each other more. We need to work together more. And we need to take that mentality to Washington.
I think she's got it. I don't understand why you won't win. I don't get it. You got this.
There is no reason why I won't win.
There's no
reason to win, right?
Courtney Tritch is going to... See, I got win and Tritch get it together. Courtney Tritch is going to win Congressional District 3. You guys get out and support her. She's doing some wonderful things. You heard her platform. She's amazing. All right. Indiana Zone is about to sign off, but I want you to say thank you guys again for tuning in to Turn Left. We are working every week to make sure that we have good quality guests so that we are bringing good information. She taught us a lot today. Now I know the name of the French president. Didn't know that before. And he's got a make the world great again competition. We should get on up in that. So listen, don't forget to tune in next week. See the calendar events. If you see somebody that you are excited about listening to, don't hesitate. There's an archive on my Facebook page. So if there's somebody that you missed, you can always go back and listen to it later. Also, Indiana Talks tomorrow. This will be rerun on Indiana Talks tomorrow from 3 to 4. So, we're getting up and down the state, and we're trying to galvanize people to get them going. This political season is hot. We got to stay focused. All right, everybody. I will check you guys out next week. Thank you again for joining in. Thank you, Courtney. Turn Left, Indiana Zone. Peace.